Hi, good morning. This is Tim speaking. My name is Tim Gomez. This is, I will call it Season 2, Episode 1. Reverse Parking will be the name. The reason it is Season 2 is this. Feels like a chapter change for me personally. And has been over the last sort of 10 days or so. I've had this kind of running round in me for days, for longer. Probably best anyone now, if anyone is listening to me, that you are up to date with Season 1 that I have done over the last year. I'd say it's very important to watch that. But maybe it won't matter. I mean, this language is a bit odd. But I would recommend and prefer you to understand the strange nature of Awesome and Tim and the Time Bandit and Number One. Where's Number One? And a few other characters, and I'm sure I will introduce more. I know for many it will seem very strange, and you will consider me strange. And I think I probably am. But I've used these characters to convey something in a way. Perhaps at times I have been far too straightforward in wanting to convey this, and truly it's not about direct, it's about understanding. Hence the abstract quality quite often, and the need to kind of think for yourself. I will be strange, but I will try and, cool it down a bit if it's too strange, and come up with some far more grounded approach, perhaps. But at the same time, I am here to challenge on some levels, but it has to come back to the core. So I would like Season 2 to, well, I mean, I think the characters are great personally, but I might, have to cool it a bit, because I don't want to get in trouble, not with anyone. A very important relationship in this is that of the teacher and the student. For me, that's always been very important. But right now, it is the most important. Nothing else truly matters. And I've got a little story for you, subject. It's just Tim. It's all right. No weird characters. It's just Tim. I remember when I was, goodness, it would have been about 18 or 19. 18, I guess. And when I was learning to drive, and I lived in a brilliant house down in Falmouth with my friends, with Aaron and Paul and everyone. And I was having these driving lessons. My dad had paid for them, which I mean, lucky, and I would honestly say it's one of the best abilities, the best licenses I've ever had, and of such use throughout my life. I remember this one lesson. I don't know how many I'd had at the time, probably half a dozen or something. And we got to this sort of point in the lessons, the guy was nice, we got on well, chatting, he was a nice guy. We did these lessons and he was sussing me out. He's the teacher. He knows how to drive. He knew what I need to learn. That's why I was there. And this one day, he got me to this position. He said, right, stop here and I want you to, reverse park. And it was, as I remember, well, it was obviously a challenge. And I guess sort of the first time we'd sort of tried it. But what I remember is that he pushed me that day. And he got me to this point, and he knew he had to do it. He was the teacher. He pushed me to the point, I was like, I just can't fucking do it, I said. He wound me up. And we sort of, I don't remember if I managed it that time or not, but it reached a bit tense. It's not a big car. And he really pressed this button. In my doubting my ability, I can't do it, I said. Lesson carried on. He dropped me back. I think from my memory it was slightly tense in the car. He dropped me back. A few days later or a week later, I had my next lesson, you see. The good thing was it was booked. I knew when that lesson was coming. And I was going to do it. The next lesson came, no problem. And he explained to me that he could see he had to do that. He knew he had to push me beyond this small limit. It was nothing, but for him as the teacher, knowing perfectly well what I need to learn, so simple to him. He knew there was a blockage. There was something that needed to be overcome. And he explained all that to me. He sat with me, he said, I'm sorry I had to wind you up. He was a grown man. I was just a boy. He was picking me up from my house. He knew the town, it was all art students and everything. He could see how I was dressed. He'd worked me out more or less, knew my character. And so knew how to deal with it in that situation. We went on to learn reverse parking, no problem. I can still do it to this day. The beauty of it is I remember it so well. And it was a classic teacher-student moment. And part of that dynamic is if you have a teacher in something you have a true desire to learn. If you have a teacher, you admire them, you want to succeed, you want to learn, and you essentially want them to be proud of you as a student. And that's a very important dynamic. If you dislike your teacher and the subject, forget it. It's almost like, what's the point? You're not going to learn anything. You find another way to learn. Now with driving, I mean, I could have gone, oh, actually, I don't like this guy. But I did. I don't like this guy. I got another driving teacher. And I could have got another driving teacher, although my dad had paid him, I think, up front. So it was booked. And I liked him. And we continued. And I got my license after a couple of fails. That's another story. Maybe I'll tell you another day, but not today. It's funny though. Now, of course, I'm being abstract, which now I'll blow by being straightforward. Teachers throughout life, had various teachers. I always did quite well at school. My teachers I liked, Through your life, you have, I can think of various like Keith, Maggie and Keith, the characters I'd love to talk about. Keith, I've done a lot of work with over the years. He's retired now, but I learned a lot from him doing sort of bathrooms and tiling and building and all of that stuff. And I learned from Keith. He's a family friend since I was a baby. He's known me since I was a baby. So we have a very loving relationship. Absolutely no doubt about it. So to learn from him was fantastic, because all I wanted to learn, I'd make silly mistakes and I'd get away with it because he likes me. This is good. It's good both ways. If you've got a boss that doesn't particularly like you, a young worker, you make a silly mistake, they have a go at you. That's a different kind of thing. I've always been very lucky to have these mentors and teachers. We get on. There's a genuine affection between us, and it has aided me throughout my life. I have a teacher, and this teacher has been with me throughout my life, I feel. And it's such an important relationship. I would say my most important relationship of this lifetime. And going on that important, to say I admire him doesn't touch it. That is not even 1% of what it is. And in my life, it's broken down now to a point where everything else can flip in, wait and go. Don't care. This teacher, I wish to be proud of me. To ever feel he could disapprove of me or honestly think I'm too strange for this, it's game over for me, it feels. I want nothing more than to speak with my teacher. I don't see how I can move forward without that. And, well, better stay abstract, huh? So I won't go too into that, but I hope that makes it clear to the one and only important person on this planet right now for me. And the circus will continue. I said I will be honest and authentic, if a little bit too imaginative at times, maybe, but well-meaning. I honestly want to help here, and I honestly believe I can. I had a panic. I had a Valentine's message for you all, you invisible people. I had one planned for the evening, and something kind of happened to pull the rug and teach me a lot. So I'm eternally thankful for that lesson, and I pray I've learnt it. And in the context of that reverse parking, you know, expectations in this, I don't. You know, when I was learning to drive, I had no expectations. I didn't sit there those days and go, oh, and then I'll get that car and then I'll do that and I'll drive there. I didn't have the capacity to even think like that. I was just doing something. I was 18. I was young. So I had no expectations there. But I went on to learn to drive and had some wonderful road trips, wonderful times all over the place. And I pray that this latest lesson is something along those lines, because this is a very different type of driving. But it is the most important thing. So I don't have an appointment. I don't have my next lesson booked. But I just pray to God that I am ready for it, if and when I am fortunate that that lesson may come. It's strange. It's like I feel like I've got so many teachers at times, but there is only one, really. And no expectations. I don't have hopes and dreams. But I release any and all expectations here now. And well, look, it's not going to be a long one. And I won't go playing around. Not this one, but this is episode 1, season 2. So clearly I'm setting it up for a bit of fun, but no expectations. I mean, I'm going to continue this secret circus, this video call to myself. What a strange thing. I leave you with a bit of a kind of shout out to the champions again. You need to know season 1 to know what that means. But to the champions, something I've meant for a long time to bring up. In this kind of understanding, in this attempting to bring unity on earth, let me be honest, that is part of a dream that I think many of us now hold. And in that understanding, there are opportunities to make your peace in simple ways, you know. To those that you love, especially, look, champions, your grandparents, you know, and your parents, your elders. This is the point here. there must be very sincere respect for your elders. This is a basic tenet of life. They are your teachers. They are your helpers. And they love you. They honestly do. And when you're young, your perspective can go all here and there. And any that you may have lost touch with or got some silly little argument, this will be for the older sort of champions, the teens and above. Make your peace, you know, because you honestly don't know how long they're going to be around. And when people leave, it's really, really healing to feel like you said what you needed to say with them. That there was a genuine love and a connection with them in the simplest way. And believe me, from their older perspective, they will appreciate it more than you can possibly know. And it is another balance that we need here. In Japan, they have a wonderful thing called filial piety. And it's ingrained in the very culture of this respect of your elders. And it goes in line with respecting your teachers. It balances a lot up, and it's an important respect. So say, make your peace. And this can go for everyone. Make your peace. This is a great time to make your peace. Reach out to that person you've had some thing with, or especially family members. And bury the hatchet. Just go, look, let's just drop it. From here on, that's enough, right? Move forward. Because it's part of the process of any forgiveness. How can you let go of something? If you have a grudge or you feel grudged, you can solve this, champions. This can be solved. Now, don't go off creating dramas for doing it. Only do it if you genuinely feel it, and make your peace with those that you need to. So like I said, this is a bit of a quick one. It's quite early. It's the 25th of February 2023. What a year it has been. Mr. Invisible talking to the invisible people. But I said I'd be honest, authentic, and I've said many times I am not stopping. And here today, I want to state that in no uncertain terms. I'm not stopping this opening. I want to open my heart. And I am. And this is another step on that, I pray. This beautiful existence, you know, I mean, I will, and I'm sure I'm being kind of guided to bring this into a simple approach to this, which comes right back down to appreciation of your breath and what you honestly have within you, every single one of us. That through self-love, self-understanding, and helping that to grow, all of us. This is the greatest opportunity ever. And I'm not missing this one. So, no expectations. But I hope this isn't the beginning of another year of this, talking to myself. So I'd like to set its intentions, not expectations. But I intend to hold someone's both hands, look in their eyes, and know that we're on the same page. If the universe could grant me that gift, just one. Because as I understand, hey, you're not alone. But it would be nice. Bit of a party. Anyway, a little bit rambly if I'm not careful, so I don't want to appear any stranger than I already do. I just want to promise you that I feel some revival in the air, huh? There's a lot going on around the world. Let's do it. Let's all rise. Let us all truly, let's gratitude, let it flow, just like the blood in your veins. And focus on that more and more. Let's do that together. And pray for peace. Anyway, look, just because I didn't want to think that no one was there anymore, I needed this. And I had a bit of a panic and sort of took all my films off, nearly. But I realised I got to stand by what I've done and said. It can't be unsaid. In a sense, for me, that would be odd. So I'm going to reload those. So if anyone, this is the first time you've seen me talking, it might, I would like you to watch the others. There's quite a few, I mean, up to you, but there is a story in there, I believe. There is a very real story. And I pray it is in alignment with this universe. And that's the Valentine. Yeah, better late than never. But I decided my Valentine this year would go to the infinite. Because I figure that kind of covers everything then, doesn't it? That covers all the people, animals, the earth itself. So if last year's Valentine's message was strange, here's this one. Guess I just wanted to spend some time with you, with me. Goodness knows what. This is what I call it, Samsung therapy, Samsung phone therapy, or whatever. Call it what you want. I want to remain light-hearted, but not too odd. So I will pull in a few of the characters. And by the way, in those last couple, which I will have to load because I did them, but I got a bit worried that I've overstepped many marks. And I pray that doesn't put an end to my little quest. And yet I have done it. And to be honest, as Tim, I blame the Time Bandit, because it was the Time Bandit that had to go, really. So I blame him. New character going to come up. He's growing, and I think he might be an important one for this. And that's new me. So there's a little teaser. We'll have a new character, I reckon. Sort out this circus a little bit. And take another step. As I've said many times, you know, I want you invisible people to feel that you're not alone. And I, as an invisible person, want to not feel alone. So we have something in common here. And lots of love to everyone that cares. And lots of love to everyone, because I think this world needs it now. That's for sure. Let us pray for some good times. Uplifting. Let us be uplifted. And I will talk to you soon. As long as I feel safe in doing so. This is Tim. Over and out. Season 1, 2, episode 1. Thank you very much.